Hey, so once again, I want to say thanks to all the songwriters that are here for Huco Songs this weekend. Let's give another round of applause. And also, I want to say thanks again to the Port Austin Artists in Residence Program and the Port Austin Community Players for letting us use the Playhouse this evening. My name is Nicholas James Thomasma, and I'm going to play you a few songs that are written right here in the thumb. This first one was written while I was sitting in the driveway over at the Bee Barn. It's called Wild. You ask me, do I think this is crazy? What else can I say? Yeah, maybe. But if you're asking what to do, I think you know that's up to you. You drive me wild. We used to drive me wild. We your eyes, you drive me wild. You drive me wild. You acted like you thought it was too late, and you're wondering, did I make a mistake? But I'm thinking that maybe things will be okay. You're here now, with me now, so what does that say? You drive me wild. We used to, you drive me wild. We your eyes, you drive me wild. You drive me wild. Is this crazy? Yeah, maybe. You drive me wild. We used to, you drive me wild. We your eyes, you drive me wild. You drive me wild. You drive me wild. We used to, you drive me wild. We your eyes, you drive me wild. You drive me wild. Thank you very much. So in 2019, I spent a month in the Harbor Beach Artist in Residence program. Shout out to Harbor Beach. And as I mentioned earlier, I fell in love with the thumb right away and started exploring this beautiful area and this lovely lake shore. And but I spent a month there as an artist, as a songwriter. And so, as you can imagine, I wrote a bunch of songs while I was there. And one of the things, so songwriters, it's kind of a thing for us. Like, we don't really know where songs come from. They just come, right? And sometimes you'll get an idea for a song and you'll percolate that idea. And sometimes we did this exercise this weekend that was the song maker-upper. which I thought was a really fun way to just immediately start writing a song. And there's no right way or wrong way. But I heard this said, I was listening to a speech, and somewhere, kind of at the crux of the speech, they kind of slammed their hands down on the podium and said, listen, you're not too old, and it's not too late.
Amen.
And I knew that had to be in a song. So this one's called I Know, because I know.
Is what I see. An old man staring back at me. He says, boy, listen to me. Never give up on your dreams.
Beach in 2019, and I wrote all these songs, and I was all fired up about it, right? I had all this energy and all these new songs, and I went back home, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm gonna make an album, like, as quick as possible. We're gonna make this album. And I have the title already because it was given to me by one of the other members of the Harbor Beach Artist in Residence program. Elliott came up with the concept of Thumblandia. Yeah, you maybe have heard this before because I took ownership of it. I was like, that's what it's called to me. This is Thumblandia. And so I talk very lovingly about Thumblandia. And I had all this intention of making this album called Thumblandia. And then something happened in 2020. I don't remember. But everything got derailed. And the downside of that is that I still have not made this album. The upside to it is that I have been coming back to Port Austin and to Harbor Beach and to Caseville and to other areas here in the Thumb, and I continue to write songs. So now I have even more songs for this album called Thumblandia, which I promise I'm going to get to at some point. And really the anchor of the album, what really happened is that I wrote about 15 songs over the course of a month or so, and it's about the end, I got 2-3 days left, and I was like, you know what? I did it. I'm done. I wrote a bunch of songs. I'm good. I'm just going to relax and enjoy the rest of the time. And that's when I wrote this next song. And I believe in large part because I took the pressure off of myself, I was able to allow this to come through. Now, side note, the reason I ended up in the Harbor Beach Artist in Residence program is because the United Methodist minister at the time in Harbor Beach was a friend of mine. And Sari Brown. Sari Brown said, who wants to be my neighbor for a month? And it was a link to the Artist in Residence program. So I filled out the link. I was invited to spend a month in Harbor Beach. And at the end of the month, I wrote this song. And when I showed it to Sari Brown, she said to me, I believe that you were called here by God to write that song. Yeah. This song is called Love is Love.
Love is love, people are people, just like they. It's just that simple. Open the door, ring the bell in the steeple. Love is love, people are people, black or white. We're all shades of brown, and we're all the same. Deep down, and if we look different, that's okay. Love's blind, anyway. Love is love, people are people, just like they. It's just that simple. Open the door, ring the bell in the steeple. Love is love, people are people. Boys will be boys, boys may be girls. There are all kinds of children in this world. You don't have to know or understand. Just remember, we're all human. Love is love, people are people, just like they. It's just that simple. Open the door, ring the bell in the steeple. Love is love, people are people. I know it's difficult to change, but there is no more room for hate. And when it's all said and done, everyone needs love. On top of a mountain, I've been assure you, it's not just a dream. Brothers and sisters, we are all equal. Love is love. People are people. Love is love. People are people. Just like they. It's just that simple. Open the door, ring the bell in the steeple. Love is love. People are people. Let me break it down. Let me make it simple. Love is love. People are people.
Thank you so much, everybody. My name is Jayce. The Accidentals will be up in just a few moments.
Wow, that was convenient. Hi. Wow, this has been a really, really magical weekend. Huge thanks to all the songwriters and to Nick for, it takes a lot to be up on a stage and pour your heart out. It can be really scary, and I think I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody who was brave enough to stand up here and pour their hearts out. It's something that you'd think would feel less nerve-wracking by now, because after thousands of years of gathering in a space to celebrate truth and authenticity, as we've done, it never gets easier, but it is so important because for people who are shy or people who are struggling or people who are carrying some burden, when we write songs, we are seeking to communicate and find connection. And so thank you to you guys as well for filling up the space tonight, and thanks to Dennis for letting us use this beautiful venue space to pour our hearts out and to find connections in what is meaningful and what is hard and what is true. So, on that note,
it has been amazing coming to this songwriting retreat. Sav and I have, usually we tour with a full band. We're called the Accidentals, but we also love coming to workshops like this. And what was it, Friday morning, we were flying in from Nashville and our flight got delayed and we had 15 minutes to run across O'Hare.
sprinting through RD.
Here with our manager, and she was like wearing flip-flops, and she like shows up without any shoes on, like running to the gate, and we're all sweaty, and we're like, we made it, and then we landed here, instantly peaceful, like just such an amazing place, and a community, and just being able to share songs and talk outside, and our little song circle has been amazing.
Pasties at the farmer's market? Come on. Well, anyway, we're going to play a couple songs for you guys. This is one that came about after I lost a good friend of mine, and it happened really suddenly. It was like an impulse moment, and it took him away, and I had no closure. And sometimes I joke that songwriting is cheaper than therapy, so it took a long time of trying to process it, and eventually I stopped trying to put my grief into stanzas and just wrote a stream of consciousness passage, chose a couple things out of it, and turned it into this song. It's called The Line. When I sing these words into an empty room, I'm not sure if they will even make a sound. If I burn my paper courage, if I sow it in the ground, will the ashes you receive to wake around? There's a hollow that once held a sense of youth, a little patch of light I learned to cut into, to cash it in for something wiser. I just want a little truth from every fire and flood that feeds a deeper wound. It used to be like a creek flowing from a summit I could never see. Now it's frozen dry, carving lines around my eyes, tracing knots along my spine. It's so hard to find the time to let it breathe, to find the line between the truth and the belief. War is young in terms of time, but it's got teeth, tearing families and futures at the seams. Be it oil or gold or water, we have always treasured greed. We won't bite the dying hand of history. To my friends who think you'll save yourself some time, because your confidence is withered up and died. You are more than what you carry, you are more than what you hide. You will never know how much you leave behind. It used to be like a creek flowing from a summit I could never see. Now it's frozen dry, carving lines around my eyes, tracing knots along my spine. It's so hard to find the time to let it breathe, to find the line between the truth and the belief. Every day dies in confusion, I gotta smile away my pride, but my nerves are buzzing rhythms like defective power lines, burning holes into my memory, streaming smoke into the sky. They will talk about what stars used to be like. It used to be like a creek flowing from a summit I could never see. Now it's frozen dry, carving lines around my eyes, tracing knots along my spine. Oh, it's so hard to find the time to let it breathe, to find the line between the truth and the belief, to find the line between the truth and the belief.
Thank you for clapping just long enough for us to trade instruments out.
One of the things we got to practice, actually, we had a great workshop today about co-writing. And co-writing is not something that we've done a ton of in the last 12 years. In fact, pretty much since 2019 and 2020, we started getting into it. And Sav and I have been able to write with some of our heroes. We've been extremely lucky to have some amazing connections, and we had a couple co-writes, one with Beth Nielsen Chapman and one with Kim Ritchie. And then when the pandemic hit and we were home sitting on our computers, we thought, hey, what if we just reached out to Dar Williams? And we saw if she was, wanted to co-write with us. And she said yes. So we got to meet up with her on Zoom, and we thought we'd have one call and write a song together. And it ended up being like 10 Zoom calls because we just kept talking and talking. And the thing that we were really honing in on was Dar had this idea to write about the night train. And she said, have you guys ever taken a train across the country? And we said, no. We've traveled in the van everywhere in the US, but we've never been on the train. And she said her last tour that she did before lockdown, she called her booking agent, and he was like, hey, you want me to get you a flight back home to the East Coast? And she said, you know what? I think I'm going to take the train. And we're like, really? It's going to take twice as long. And she said, yeah, I think I can just use a little time to sit and observe and reflect. And so on these Zoom calls, she showed us pictures and told us stories about the people she met, the towns that she went through that, you don't see when you're just, cruising down the highway or flying overhead. And we ended up writing this song called Night Train.
It's also a legal requirement for songwriters to have train songs. So we had to meet that benchmark in our career, and we finally did it after 12 years. So.
The sun was a $50 coin in the November sky. Porter, he helped me drag my old suitcase inside. Friends shook their heads, said it was faster to fly. But every compatriot coming on after had all made the same choice as mine. I'm on the night train. See this land for a change. Gardens and the backyards, far mountain range. Taking my time, stay on this line to the end of the track. Watch the sunrise 2 or 3 times before I come back. Red lines to cafes, the buildings have worn over time. For every American dreamer, a mountain to climb. Orchards and fields and the harvest from April to frosts. Men forging steel into bridges their children will cross. Rusty old combines and factories rose from the past. History fell in the shadows that each of them cast. Memphis to Denver, I thought of my grandmother's hands. Pressing that 50-cent piece in my palm, saying, take this as far as you can. I'm on the night train. See this land for a change. Gardens in the backyards, far mountain range. Taking my time, stay on this line to the end of the track. Watch the sunrise 2 or 3 times before I come back. Helpless uncertainty, let it slide off of me. Open city streets, shiny and hungry, on with each other. The daughters, the mothers, the good and the evil, just regular people. And deep down I know I'm still fanning the flames, just by trying to find the right person to blame. 'Cause it's easier putting a face to your fear than a name. The $50 coin in the sky shines with Kennedy's call. Cold War continues, but now it's inside of us all. Silence surrounds us, we're waiting for morning to come. The train is still rolling, the bridge is still holding, the
be done. I'm on the night train, skyline in sight, passing Savage Yard into the morning light. Taking my time, this country of mine, we'll get it on track. Watch the sunrise 2 or 3 times as we come back. Watch the sunrise 2 or 3 times as we come back. We're going to do one more song before we invite our friends up here again to sing with us before we head back to Nashville. But this is a song that we co-wrote with our friend Peter Moby. He's a great songsmith out of Wisconsin. And we are from Michigan, so we wanted to write about the big strip of land between us, which is the Upper Peninsula. So we did this song, and we called it Eastern Standard Time. And then 2 things happened. The first was that we included the city of Ironwood, and we were righteously informed by the inhabitants of Ironwood that they're actually in Central Time. So that was really cool. And then the second thing that happened is like 2 weeks after we put the song out, U.S. Senate got together and unanimously decided to get rid of Standard Time. So that was also really cool. So we have not done a rewrite. But what we think is going to happen is that the Senate is going to do, this happened in the 70s, and they started taking their kids to school in the dark, and we think that that's going to happen again, and then they'll overturn it, and then our song will gain relevance and notoriety, and it'll go to top 40, and we'll make a ton of money, and we'll retire. Thanks to the U.S. government. So, this song goes out to the city of Ironwood. It's called Eastern Standard Time. The deepest dark water on the rockiest shore, the tall white pine and the iron ore, wind falls of the coat of Rhine, Eastern Standard Time. Ironwood to Sault Ste. Marie, the great Gitchigami Superior Sea, the Copper Sun and then the Dead River climb, Eastern Standard Time. Far below the reach of the cold daylight, shipwrecks hold their secrets tight. And somewhere down there is that old pipeline, Eastern Standard Time. Light time. We've got all our songwriters up here. Give them a warm welcome.
That's a good. Thanks to Nick Jay's Huco songs, all of our fellow songwriters we've gotten to know over the last few days. It's been a blast. Thank you to Jayce one more time for doing sound.
Thanks to Dennis for having us here tonight and for making us coffee at like 7 in the afternoon. We appreciate you. Alright, this one has a nice sing-along, so feel free to sing along as well. This is a love letter to our great home state of Michigan. And thank you guys so much for filling up the space today. We all appreciate you so much.
We lay down in the grass, in our nest of sleeping bags, breathing in the shallow canyon air. The water 45 degrees. We wade out to the knees and soak to the sleeves in a semi-aquatic prayer. Still stay in my end. Compass roses bloom again. Home on the water, him and his daughter, cradled in a crescent moon. Michigan and again and again and again and again. Michigan and again and again and again and again. Soft shoulders of sand dunes, porcupine cactus flowers bloom in the dust of the devil's empty living room. Salt silts of blood and lamb, diamond like a snake in the sand, powdered porcelain in a stranger's hand. Stay in my end. Compass roses bloom again. Home of the water, and his daughter, cradled in a crescent moon. Michigan and again and again and again and again. Michigan and again and again and again and again. Grazing around to hear the sound of a heavy sigh. Hope is where you left your heart behind. Even fortified fossils dissolve over time. When I came home, I went down to the lake. My dad told me he counts up the days. And when I packed my bags, coffee stains of jet lag, there were conifers lining the driveway, whispering, stay. Stay, 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 stay. Stay, 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 stay. Great still stay in my end. Compass roses bloom again. Home on the water, Junior's daughter, cradled in a crescent moon. Michigan and again and again and again and again. Michigan and again and again and again
weekend. So, once again, thank you to the Port Austin Community Playhouse and the Port Austin Community Players and to the Port Austin Artist in Residence program. We're going to go back to the Bee Barn and build a big fire and play a bunch of songs around the fire. We also have a keg of beer that was graciously donated to us by Pax Backyard. Shout out to Pax for being the home of live music here for me. And you're all welcome to join us if you'd like to around the fire. So, once again, thank you everybody for coming out to the Port Austin Artist in Residence Songwriter Showcase. We'll see you next year.